Hi guys. So I was getting like a bunch of random messages the last couple of days, so I've been trying to piece it together. It's pretty much like a puzzle because sometimes the messages from the divine are very, very straightforward, and other times it's kind of like I have to play Sherlock Holmes, but that's okay because I like that. I like puzzles and things. So it works, but sometimes it's frustrating when it's like the dots are so far apart. You're like, what? What are you trying to tell me? But over the last couple of days, I've been getting a few random messages. So I'll just explain it. One of them is the number 7, and I brought that up a couple readings ago, and it's been getting stronger. Like seeing the number 7 everywhere. And even in the last reading that I did, in the center of the reading, it was the 7 of Pentacles. What's interesting about the number 7 is that it can't be divided. It can't be divided. So that's a prime number, I believe. I'll have to look that up later. That's like going back to like 4th grade or 5th grade, but I think that's a prime number, like when it can't be divided. And that says a lot, right? Can't be divided in terms of self or with others, because everything's connected. Everything's connected. What's interesting about, and I am going to talk about this today, you guys. I know I normally don't, but I am going to talk about divine soul connections. When you are with an elite soulmate, someone that's meant to trigger your deepest wounds so that they can be healed, so that unconditional love can be spread in the world once it's found for self, okay? If it's a true like divine soul connection, there's never separation, right? There's never separation. So call it whatever you'd like. I'm not super into labels, but twin flame, divine soul connection, elite soulmate, however you want to call it. The theory behind it is that in a past life, you ascended so high that you had enough capacity for 2 souls and were split. That's the true essence of a twin flame. And it's split into masculine and feminine energies, the yin and the yang. And there's a little piece of the other inside the other part. Which is why that phrase, I see you, that's what that means, when you can see the other person's soul, right? Beyond all the BS, all the coping mechanisms, all the defense mechanisms, the ego, you just see right through it. There's never any separation. There may be physical or emotional distance, but there's never a division. And that's very peaceful to know. It's kind of sad, right? But it's also very peaceful to know. And for those who are in separation with their divine counterpart at this moment, it may or may not happen this lifetime. There still may be things that the other soul needs to learn, or they may be serving karma from a past lifetime. Okay? But there's never any separation, and that's the significance of the number 7. It can't be divided. It can't be divided. But that also goes in terms of self, because remember, we have that yin and yang harmony, balance within ourself. I was reading more about like the moon cycles today, and what I found interesting, I kind of knew this, but I didn't really actually know it. Like, I think I understood it, but I never like read it, and it made so much sense. When the moon is full, it's because the sun is on the other side of the planet, and the light doesn't block the moon's glow. As the rotations of the earth, as the rotation of the earth happens, that's like the phases of the moon. It's those transitions, right? It's literally a battle of light and shadow. That's what it is. It's not that you, for the new moon, it's when the sun is on the same side. So there's, because of the light of the sun, you can't see the moon's reflection, or the glow, reflection. And how perfect is that for everything that I've been talking about recently, right? It's like a battle of light and shadow. And that's what was reset with equinox, because it's when the sun is right over the equator, or right in alignment with the equator. So super interesting stuff, right? The other things that I noticed today was, this doesn't happen a lot, but like, I'd be behind someone at a stoplight, and we'd be turning, right? And the light would be red, but they wouldn't be going. Normally people stop and go, or don't stop and go. Multiple times today, people were stopped, not doing anything. And I just sat there like, how long are they gonna wait for? And so I just waited it out, and nobody went until the light was green. Even though they could have easily gone, there were no cars coming. Like, I didn't honk at them or anything, I was just kind of like doing an experiment. But it happened 3 times today. That's exact scenario, which is super weird. And then the 7th song on my way home from work, on my random shuffle, was this song by this band called Rise Against, and it's called Torches. And it's about, literally, one of the lines, or one of the, like, some of the lyrics from that song say, traffic lights silently change 1,000 times a day, and I'm still waiting. And that's literally what happened. So that was like super significant, and I was trying to connect all the dots for like the bigger message, and I couldn't. So we'll see what the cards have to say about all of that. Yeah, normally I can, but it was just so random and spread out. I was like, I don't know, we'll see what the cards have to say. All right. Stormfields and Moon. Stormfields and Moon. Okay. Stormfields are about following your path. What's interesting is there may be obstacles on your path, but that's part of the journey. That is the path. Overcoming the obstacles is the path. Because sometimes the easy way isn't always the right way. I'm not saying make it harder for yourself than it needs to be, but do you see what's represented here? It's like you're trying to go down your path and there's an obstacle. That's Earth School, right? That's learning life lessons. And then Moon. Which also represents fear and intuition too. So let's see if we can get some information that can help me connect the dots from all the messages I've been getting the past couple days, particularly about 7s and well, being a torch when there's a lot of darkness around you to light the way. That's huge. That's huge. But also just like the battle between the sun and the moon, because just like in medicine, there's exogenous disease and there's endogenous disease, which is like an endogenous disease is something that happens within self that causes disease. Exogenous is something that happens externally that causes disease. The sun represents what you put out in the world, what others perceive of you, your light, okay? The moon, so it's exogenous. The sun represents exogenous. The moon represents endogenous, all of our inner subconscious, our fears, our intuition, our deep knowing. And what happens when we let our endogenous traits overpower our exogenous ones, our light doesn't shine in the world. That's the new moon. I'm not saying the new moon's bad, they're rad, but that's like the new moon compared to the full moon. Wait, I think I said that backwards. That's the full moon compared to the new moon. So when you let your fears run your life, okay, it is a form of self-sabotage. It is a form of self-sabotaging behavior. And what happens then is you're not able to let your light shine in the world. Also, you will create your own reality that way. If you allow your fears to control your endogenous environment, to control your exogenous environment, that's self-sabotaging behavior, and that's what's going to create your reality. You attract the things that you fear. And usually they're irrational. They're irrational. So, not many people know this about me, but I have a fear of public speaking and being recorded on video. That's why I was guided to do this channel. And it took a lot, and it took baby steps. If you watch from the beginning, you'll see it's super baby steps. I used to not even show my face. But now, here I am. So that's just an example, okay, of baby steps of facing your irrational fears and not letting your endogenous environment control your exogenous environment. Because it's so much easier to give in, right? To make that your reality. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm scared of that. It's easier. But it also limits you immensely on reaching your highest self energy. Cleaning house, dry desert. Let me pull a couple more here. Spark. Compass. Solitude. Stuck in the mud. Okay. So, cleaning house is about getting rid of clutter, emotionally and physically. What's not serving you anymore? Old thought processes, fear-based belief patterns, but also your environment, because that is a reflection of your internal environment. This is about exogenous and endogenous, right? If you're cluttered mentally and disorganized and don't have a clear path, right, then that's going to be reflected in your physical environment. So this is perfect. This also means that the collective is going through a purge right now, which is good. You guys, it's good. Because when you purge your physical environment and get rid of old stuff that is no longer serving in your life, it'll be reflected internally. So this is great. It's cleaning out those dusty old corners that you haven't wanted to touch for a long time, either because it's too painful or you don't want to deal with it. But in the long run, it gets worse, right? So now it's a time to do that. And this is in like the recent past, so I can tell that there's been like purging in the collective, and that goes along with the energy of releasing the past to move forward on your journey. Okay, that's great. Dry desert. This is about looking for inspiration and hope when you can't necessarily see a lot of it around you and you feel alone on your path. Like no one understands you. or, you know, she's kind of like in the desert that's all like parched, and she sees the city over here and she's like, is it a mirage? Can I really get there? What's amazing about this is a time to dig deep, to have that inspiration and hope within yourself, not seek it externally. Again, this is about internal, external, endogenous and exogenous, because it's already within you, and you'll get there. You'll get there. In the heart of the reading is spark, and look at the numbers on the top, 34, 7. You cannot be divided. It may feel like it, but it's not possible. Everything's connected. Spark is like the Ace of Wands card. It's like a new passionate beginning. It's about pursuing something that you love so much because it fuels your fire. It feeds your soul. And this is at the heart of the reading. So, I mean, purging, feeling alone, right? And new spark, that's what's happening now. New passionate beginning. That's what's happening now. It's in the heart of the reading. The last two cards that came out were Compass and Solitude. Compass is about listening to your intuition. Your intuition is the realest thing that you could ever have on your side. It is your internal compass. What's interesting about it being the realest thing, your internal compass is not tangible. So you have to rely on faith. And I'm not talking even religiously. I'm talking about trusting your own intuition. As long as it's not coming from fear-based thoughts or from a place of ego, then it will be right on target. Okay? 55 also represents change. All right? So you may have had to change directions recently. Once you purged, kind of regained that hope and inspiration, you know, had to dig deep for that, and are now working on this passionate new start, following your intuition. Perfect. Things are going to change. It will happen. It'll be reflected in your external environment. As within, so without. As within, so without. Your internal environment is a reflection of your external environment is a reflection of your internal environment. And that's even more so confirmed with this image. As within, so without. And we have the moon here. Solitude is about a time of self-reflection, obviously. There are going to be some changes. There are going to be changes if you're doing this work, which is reflected here in this reading for the collective, and you're listening to your true internal compass, not out of fear-based thoughts or ego-based thoughts. It may seem lonely for a while, you guys, okay? But just keep following it. Just keep following it, because it'll start to be reflected externally in your life, the work that you're doing. Remember, phases, transitions, just like the moon. Okay? 24, stuck in the mud. You know what I love about this card? It seems negative, right? It's not. It's not. When someone's feeling stuck, it means massive growth is about to happen. If you're feeling stuck and you're like, I'm in these cycles, I feel like my life isn't going anywhere, you're going to do to make the change to get out of it. I love this card because it's a time of transition. It's a time of inaction, which sometimes is the right move. That's being reflected here. Sometimes inaction is the right move. to regain that clarity so that you can get your internal environment, your endogenous environment on point, right? So that it can start to be reflected in your external environment, your exogenous environment. Amazing, right? I actually really like this card for that reason. It represents changes are coming. Okay. Which is good. That's what we're put here to do. So let's confirm with some tarot. I just got this deck a couple days ago and I love it. I had to wait so long for it to get here because it came from China. So I had to go through the cough inspection, as my daughters call it. 10 of Wands and 5 of Cups. So this is about all the burdens, heavy burdens that you're carrying. 5 of Cups is kind of like a feeling of sadness or regret, but it is also about a perspective shift because there's 5 cups here and the focus is on the 3 cups that have spilt over. If the person would just turn around and look, there's 2 full cups behind them. It's a perspective shift about being grateful for what you have and trying to work on releasing these burdens so that you don't have to carry so much. Okay. But what I love about this deck, not only is the way they feel and how they shuffle awesome, they're like Polaroids. So the notion behind this artist, and this is Dreamweaver Tarot, the notion behind, and I was using Map Oracle, by the way. The notion behind this was like as if you were looking through someone's old photo album of Polaroids. And I don't know, I love it. But they also have like a velvety type feel to them. All right. So I kind of wanted to get more information on what I was talking about in my intro about the traffic lights changing 1,000 times a day, but the people still waiting even though they can go. I feel like that is also reflected here, right? The people waiting at the red light even though they can go. So it's like a feeling of getting unstuck. Not waiting for the green light. You have the power within you to do it. That's also what this is saying. Right? The 3 cards in the middle. Right? Incredible. Okay, let's clarify cleaning house. Ace of Wands and the High Priestess. Yeah. So the High Priestess is the keeper of the subconscious. It is about ascension. It's very closely related to the Moon card. Okay? It's like about deep inner knowing. And Ace of Matches in this cool old school Polaroid deck is like the Ace of Wands, which is at the heart of the reading. So it's, in this deck, Spark is like that. See the match? Spark. It's like that fiery new, because 10 of Wands is like max burdens possible. Once you release that, as I was saying, you get back to the Ace of Wands, which is that passionate new start. It's a perspective shift, releasing those burdens and following your internal compass, and your external environment will start to be a reflection of what you've worked on internally. It may take some time. It will happen. I guarantee that. It'll take some time to start seeing the results in your life, you guys, but it'll come. So yeah, your intuition is telling you a passionate new start is right there. It's right there, waiting for you to grab it. Recent purging is in preparation for this. That's what this is clarifying, these 2 cards, right? Which came out together, by the way. I was only trying to get one. Purging mentally and in your external environment. Okay? Passionate new start. Your subconscious knows. Your intuition is telling you. That's what's necessary at this time. Because that's why I love this card. Beautiful things happen after this energy. Okay. Let's see dry desert. Oh, 2. Wow. You guys, this is insane. I was thinking about these 2 cards on my way home from work when I heard that number 7 song. These 2 cards popped in my head, not even gonna lie, okay? And I'll post it. It's like kind of like rock punk, so you probably, you know, it may not be the type of music that you listen to, but it ties in with this message, and it's called Torches. Or it's called Torches, yeah, by Rise Against. Look at this. Dry desert, right? Is it a mirage? Is it a mirage? Digging deep for inspiration and hope when you don't see any around you. Justice and the Devil together came out. I was trying to get one right after the High Priestess. I mean, this is insane. This is insane, especially when these 2 cards popped in my head on that song I was discussing. I'm way home from work with the number 7 song. This is how my life works, you guys. It's like Sherlock Holmes, spiritual-ish. Anyways, Justice, Libra season, right? Balance of the scales. What's cool here is I was talking about the sun and the moon and how it's basically a battle between light and shadow, light and dark, right? That's what this is. That's what this is saying. Justice and the Devil. This is representative of Libra, and this is representative of Capricorn. Okay. But these are 2 opposite polar ends of the spectrum. Sun, night, shadow. This is about balance. This is about attachments. The Devil card is about obsession, attachments. It could be in terms of thought processes or people in your life, or even like sex or money or drugs or alcohol, whatever. Okay? This is a huge, huge message with my intro. It does make sense to me now. This clarifies a lot of things. I already had the answer, because these 2 cards popped in my head when I was trying to put it all together, and I didn't pay attention. I was too busy thinking about what I needed to do. But there it is. There it is. Wow. Right next to the High Priestess, which is like your internal compass. Wow. All right, Spark. Okay, that one really wants to come out. Another major arcana. That's 4 major arcanas in a row. So in a tarot deck, there's 78 cards. 22 of them are what are called major arcanas. They're huge symbolic cards that are not part of like any suit, like the Ace through the King. That makes up most of the deck. That's the minor arcana. 4 major arcanas just came out in a row. The High Priestess, Justice, the Devil, and Temperance. That's a huge, massive, massive message. High Priestess, again, about this keeper of the subconscious, closely linked to the Moon card. Justice, with the Sun in this deck, right behind it, balance. Releasing your attachments, your obsessions, your codependent behaviors, your coping mechanisms that are not healthy. Temperance is also about balance, but it's also my divine timing card. Divine timing. When you work on this, on bringing justice to yourself, okay, releasing those attachments and codependent behaviors, that's when the divine will say, you're ready. You've been preparing for the new start, right? Purging your internal and external environment. You've been preparing for that new start because your subconscious is telling you it's right around the corner. Because you've been stuck in this energy, your subconscious is telling you it's right around the corner. As long as you keep doing that work, divine timing will bring you the Ace of Wands, right? Passionate new start. 5 of Pentacles is about feeling left out in the cold. Maybe struggling a little bit financially, or feeling like others are not paying any attention to you. That dry desert, that's stuck in the mud. Okay? Don't worry. If you keep working on bringing justice to yourself, all right, getting out of those self-sabotaging behaviors, that's also what this card is, right? Because what happens if you change your belief systems and started to accept the fact that you are deserving of all that light? Because it's within you. Everything is connected. There's never any separation. Right? What happens? You have to release your fear. Because it's a good excuse to be like, I'm not good enough to go for that. Because what if you fail, right? It's much safer to live in your outdated belief systems because it's comfortable. That's your comfort zone. But life begins just outside your comfort zone, guys. Life begins just outside your comfort zone. It may feel unsafe because you're breaking outdated belief systems, inner belief systems. All right? Outdated thinking that's not serving you anymore. Cleaning house. This is incredible. But if you do the work to start living outside your comfort zone, you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded. Because your external environment will start to be a reflection of your internal environment in divine timing. Patience. This is the patience card at the heart of the reading. And that way, you'll get to turn this in reverse. 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Stones in this deck. 5 of Pentacles is not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. It's like feeling left out, struggling. Like literally the literal meaning is being left out in the cold. You'll turn that around in reverse. That's why I'm taking this in divine timing. Patience. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that in reverse. Compass. The Hanged Man, another major arcana. That's 5. Incredible. This is the perspective shift I was talking about. To start listening to your true internal compass, your true inner subconscious. Is the only thing that we can, it's the realest thing that we can ever rely on is our intuition, if we're listening to it correctly. That's being vulnerable. That's strength. When we're vulnerable and we don't have up our defenses and we're not in this pity party of feeling left out in the cold, that's when amazing things start to happen, when you shift your perspective. I didn't pull it, but that Stormfields card where there's a path and there's like a hurricane, it is part of the path. Don't take it as a way to be closed off to the experiences that you're having on your Earth School experience. We're here to learn those lessons. That's the perspective shift of getting out of this, of putting this 5 of Pentacles energy in reverse. That's the perspective shift. Being vulnerable so that you can hear the messages from the universe and listen to your true intuition better, not from fear-based thoughts, not from ego-based thoughts. All right, Solitude. It doesn't want that one, okay. Whoa, all right. 10 of Swords and 3 of Pentacles. Okay. 10 of Blades is about endings. All right. It's about endings. Releasing what was. Releasing what was. Processing that, not just burying it. Okay? It may require some solitude, some time in solitude to deal with that. But again, the 10 goes back to the ace, right? And so the Ace of Swords is about truth, clarity, taking your power back. This is a necessary part of closing out those pieces of your life that weren't fitting, no matter how hard you tried to plug them in. They just wouldn't fit. Right? This is about grieving those, regaining balance, and having your internal environment be a reflection of your having your external environment be a reflection of your internal environment. Solid, sturdy, cannot be divided. As within, so without. And what is not allowing you to be in this energy? What's holding you back from this process? This process, transition, phases, battle of light and shadow. Right? And yeah, 3 of Stones, 3 of Pentacles. I freaking love this card because it's about building solid foundation for the future, for generations to come. Because what happens when you heal that within yourself, it'll be reflected if you have kids. If not, nieces and nephews, friends, family members, it'll spread. And that builds a solid foundation. That builds a solid foundation for the future. See all these hands coming together to create like the trifecta, right? The trifecta. It's building a solid foundation for the future. And it's also about compromise. It's about it's about teamwork, coming together. And that ties in also, because 3 is also a number that cannot be divided. And 3 and 7 equal 10. God, these messages are crazy sometimes, you guys. Anyway, this is a necessary part of the process just before awesome things are about to happen. Okay? And it's where you can start building that solid foundation for the future. So, that's really cool. I want to pull a couple more cards about what kind of situations you guys are going through. Oh. So I'm going to use my situations deck by Intuitive Envisions 1111. Okay, let's see if I can get more information on what situations specifically you guys are going through right now. That's an incredible reading. I can't believe all those major arcana cards came out. That's insane. That's very rare because I only pulled 8 and 5 of them were major arcana. So this is actually a really big, this is like a very potent message. Statistically, that's not likely, as you can tell. TikTok, deadline time running out. TikTok, deadline. Look at also, you guys, like the dark, the shadow, they're like competing, right? Time running out. The sun's going down. Done. Completion. Lesson learned. Yeah. So these two together are a big message, okay? You learned something in your life recently and you were like purging, right? Now you're like kind of in this state of non-action. But it is for a greater purpose. It is building a solid foundation for the future. But you still have to keep doing the work in order, and be patient, okay, in order for this passion and you start to happen. There are some weird things happening with time again right now, still with like the bifurcating timelines and life paths being changed based on decisions that are being made. And I feel like that's what this is saying about time. And also that was really funny with like the lights today, the stoplights, and people not going. It's like you do have to take action, but also have patience. It's like one of those paradoxical messages of the divine. You've learned the lesson, okay? Take action on pursuing the life path that you know to be true for you, okay? Because the window for that life path may be closing soon. There's always other options, okay? Other doors will open once one shuts. So I don't really look at time as like a factor a lot, because remember, even if you're in separation from your divine elite soulmate, there's no true separation. There may be physical separation, but not in the spiritual realm, okay? Escapade, vacation, hideaway, adventure. Yeah. I should be putting these down here. Also, you guys, look what the lesson learned card was under. Okay, it was under the Justice and the Devil. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. You're aware. You're aware of what needs to be released. You're just kind of waiting. But keep doing the work. That's all you have to do, is keep doing those mental reps, okay? So this one's under Spark, Temperance, and Five of Pentacles in reverse. Escapade, yeah, vacation, hideaway, adventure, spark, in divine timing with patience, balance. That's the next chapter. Adventure. It's the next part of your life path. Okay? All right, Compass and the Hanged Man. It's a gamble. Take a risk. I'm not looking at this as alcohol right now. I'm attracted to this. Gamble, take a risk. It's, as I was saying, you know, what happens when you get out of your self-sabotaging behaviors and start to change and shift your inner belief systems? The notion that you can fail can be scary unless you look at it as another lesson, right? That's what we're meant here. That's what we're put here to do. It is a gamble, but it will pay off. There's no else with this. Only lessons. So take a risk, right? What's going to happen when you shift your perspective and you're like, I am deserving of that. I have done the work. I know my value. That's awakening. That's awakening. It's being able to say that without ego. That's what being vulnerable is. Take a risk in being vulnerable. Because that's a strength. It's a strength to be this way. Especially when you've been through some ish. It's very powerful to be able to still have a vulnerable heart when it's been hurt before. But it'll pay off if you listen to your intuition, your deep inner knowing. For this, unconditional love. For self, and that's what will be attracted to you. I should have taken that one, but okay, so solitude, legal, ending. Interesting. Okay. This is a kind of a huge message right here. I mean, all of them are, but solitude, ending, right? Time for self-reflection, releasing the past. Legal, court paperwork filed. commitment, long-term relationship. Commitments about your belief systems. This could also be legal, like actual legal stuff having to do with marriage or some type of commitment. Okay. This is tough, you guys. This is really tough. What? Sorry, I'm listening as I do these, so it's kind of hard to talk and chew gum sometimes. What I'm hearing is it's part of the plan. It's part of the plan. It's for this. It's for this. To show what unconditional love is. It's not this. It's not based in attachment and codependency and coping mechanisms. It's freeing. It's freeing. And it's having a perspective shift about endings causing new beginnings, whether it's with another person or within yourself. For this, whether it's with another person or for yourself, it's so that a new beginning can happen. And it may be with the same person, but there are lessons that need to be learned here, or that were need to be learned here. It happened for a reason, because the energy was based in this, not this. Verge, about to reveal, confess. There may be news coming to you about something that you weren't aware about. Again, keep yourself in high regard. Have unconditional love for self. These endings that are causing you to feel like this, it's so that this can happen and something more solid can be built for the future that will carry on through generations. It's about coming together, and it's about building something solid. And oftentimes that requires things that were not working to end, so that work can be done to build something stronger. There's no true separation. There's no true separation if they're your divine counterpart. It may be in a physical sense, but in the 5D, no. There's no separation. The number 7. Everything's connected. It cannot be divided. Okay? So I hope that helps you guys in some way. I am gonna do another collective reading before the full moon on the 1st, and we'll see what the energy brings. And yeah, we'll go from there. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.